And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently, and the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed. Hello again, friends. I hope that today you are safe and healthy. Also, please know that we're all in this together. So, sure, I was a homeschool educator years before it became the norm, but everyday homeschoolers like us are also feeling the impacts of the world's events. I might be knowledgeable on the good and the not so good curriculum, may be proficient in planning and organization, or dabble here and there in crafts. However, I do not have this all figured out. I too have lost grip of my routine and daily rhythms. Homeschooling is not done in isolation despite the social stigma, and with closures all across the world, homeschoolers have also temporarily lost resources in libraries, state parks, museums, beaches, and more. I too am feeling displaced, inadequate. I'm also feeling overwhelmed with the sudden rush of isolation school resources available. Today, I want to remind you to take a breath, give yourself and others grace. Rather than sharing an overwhelm of more free resources or activities to do at home, I thought I'd share my 5 favorite resources for a gentle and minimal approach to home education. The wonders and teachings of nature are still and don't fail us. So, my first recommendation is to create or download a seasonal activities list or bucket list. We are loving the Springtime Activities Guide by HearthMagic. Activities that can mostly be done in the areas of our home, a backyard, or a trail in our neighborhood, while still practicing safe social distancing. Gardening, singing spring songs, or reciting spring poetry, making a flower or nature mandala, build a fort, make fruit skewers, make homemade botanical Play-Doh, look for shapes in the clouds. Still going along with being taught by nature, but suggestions for an older range of children, a beautiful nature study book. I Love Nature Anatomy by Julia Rothman. The illustrations are beautiful and inspire nature journaling, perhaps. The content is just enough to ignite an interest in a particular study and carry on further research through observation in nature. I find that this resource is a wonderful starting point for a nature study. Nature journaling benefits are many, like critical thinking, creative writing, creative expressions, and not just in nature or science, it can connect to history, art, poems, and music. And if you're new to nature journaling, I would recommend to pick up a guided nature journal or notebook like this one from The Good and the Beautiful. And there are plenty of download options that you can have access to instantly. These are beginner and kid friendly because there are prompts for one to follow, and most take you through the 4 seasons. And the plus side is that a nature journal makes a great addition to any homeschool portfolio or log. So at the end of the school year, just tuck it into the binder in the homeschool science section. And the last resource is for more in-depth substance and actual nature study resource or curriculum, like this one from Firefly Nature School. And clearly this one is about birds. So I like that it's a PDF download option, so I instantly have it in my hands without having to wait on mail or leave my home. This resource has more learning substance in that there are more skills being practiced, like ornithology or the scientific study of birds, biology, nature walk, nature journaling, reading, writing, scientific observations, and discoveries. and keeping up with the minimal resources. I do like that most of the supplies are everyday supplies you likely have at home, like colored pencils, glue, paper. The only one that really stands out here are store-bought chicken gizzards, and that's for a dissection activity. But any activity in here, of course, is always optional, and you can modify any resource so that it's sure to serve you. I believe that now more than ever our children need art, so that is my next recommendation. Children express and communicate ideas and feelings through art. It promotes visual, motor, and social development and helps learn other subjects such as reading and math. And I quote Kim John Payne, M.Ed. and author of Simplicity Parenting. A lack of exercise is often the issue when kids can't sleep, but a lack of creative expression can also make the transition to sleep difficult. Children need to create. The creative process involves a letting go of conscious thoughts and ideas, and such opportunities for artistic release during the day help a child surrender into sleep. So basically, children need to experience the flow of creativity to relax their very focused and directed attention. Here I'm sharing some of our favorite art and crafts books, one from The Good and the Beautiful, geared for younger children, and simpler activities. Nature's Box is more of a family favorite. The ideas and projects in the Nature's Box will require more skill, but mostly we love it because it does require us to step out into nature to gather supplies. However, my top recommendation here would be Creative Form Drawing. This workbook is for ages 6 through 10 years old, but there is a continuation on workbook number 2, ages 10 through 12, and workbook number 3, which are on my wish list. So, why creative form drawing? Because creative form drawing helps children in developing hand eye coordination, spatial orientation, observation skills, drawing skills, and foundations of handwriting. There are various exercises in this book, including movement, positional and directional vocabulary exercise like left, right, above, below, shorter, longer, and math foundations like shapes, patterns, symmetry, mirroring, and more. It's just a beautiful book, colorful. We really enjoy this together. In my opinion, this is a wonderful enrichment activity for every child, whether you're a regular homeschooler or not. One of our favorite methods of learning is through unit studies, and this is probably not new news to you if you've been here for a while. The unit study method is a combination of mastery and hands on approach to learning that incorporates multiple subject areas like math, science, language arts to learn about a specific topic. Our favorite resource for unit studies is the Science and Health curriculum from The Good and the Beautiful. Their unit studies are faith based, so bringing God into science with focus on very basic Bible principles. It's also open and go, meaning it's all, and I mean all, laid out for you, and it's family style for grades K through 6 and lesson extensions for 7 through 8. The amount of lessons vary from unit study to unit study, but within a unit study from the Good and the Beautiful, there is a science journaling, vocabulary words, mini books included for several lessons, very minimal lesson preparation, and supplies for projects and experiments, and again, lesson extensions for older children. There is a master supplies list organized by lesson, and if you notice, out of the 13 lessons in this arthropods unit study, 6 require 0 supplies. A lot of the supplies needed are household items or found at a local grocery store: Cheetos, candy snacks, paper towels, cotton bags. Two items on this list that stand out are an ant farm and a crayfish dissection kit, both found on Amazon, by the way. But I repeat, these things, activities, or projects are optional. Curriculum is made to serve you, so you modify as needed. And in true unit study fashion, literature is tied into every unit with a master list of read aloud recommendations for each lesson and for different reading skill levels. It's truly open and go. Every lesson also has a vocabulary list activity and a worksheet and journaling activities, along with extensions for older children. You'll also find a supply of links for educational videos through most of the lessons. And not every lesson calls for a project or experiment, which is something that I can appreciate. Each lesson is designed to take at the most an hour, but that will depend on your extensions, videos you might watch, and projects, especially with younger children. The content is engaging and visually appealing with nicely illustrated graphics, and most of them are photographs. I really can't recommend these unit studies enough, and The Good and the Beautiful is offering a free download version of marine biology on their website. I'll also link some of our The Good and the Beautiful unit study videos we've done in the past. We've done space and human body if you want to check those out as well. If there is nothing else that you do during these days of unprecedented situations, just read. Read to your babies. Reading aloud to our children increases their attention span, grows vocabularies, develops reading comprehension, and teaches them how to read with expression. Most of all, reading aloud builds family relationships. And to complement the joy of reading aloud, my next resource recommendation are literature learning guides. Our favorite are from HearthMagic, and these are the two that are next on our list. More than a literature guide, the guides from HearthMagic are a family literature guide with activities to do as a family. So, similar to the unit study concept, this is a long month guide that brings together so much more than multiple subjects like language arts, math, and geography. It's also in handwork, art lessons, cooking, nature studies, and nature walks. In the introduction, you'll find modification suggestions for older children and involving tiny ones as well. We're currently reading The Secret Garden as our first read aloud for this spring season. And in chapter 1, as we meet the main character and we're introduced to the setting of the story, we are prompted to learn about British colonism in India, the spice trade, the Great Rebellion of 1857, and more. This has ignited a study of not only history, but the geography and cultural studies of India and the people. We are watching educational videos, pulling together our globe and atlas. My teenagers are working on projects of trivia cards, a PowerPoint timeline, character journaling, and creative writing, while my younger does some coloring for journaling, copy work, and discussions. We're all meeting together in the recipes, nature studies, and some of the handwork projects, and of course in reading together. While clearly the reading skills level of this book is far too easy for my teenagers, they do still participate in the reading aloud to their younger siblings, and this seed of together time holds a value unlike any other in its own. Coming together in nature is already one of our favorite things to do as a family, so we're enjoying the nature studies, making bird seed cakes together, uh, reading and learning and painting about the European and the American robins with some extensions for the teenagers. The older children will lead the way in handwork projects like sewing us covers for our nature journals or teaching a clay modeling class. I realize that I feature these family literature learning guides a whole lot here on my channel, but I'm here to share what we love and implement, so my thoughts on these resources are 100% genuine. To be clear, I am not being paid to promote this resource. I do have a coupon code with HearthMagic, however, I do not make commission off of that code. That is just a little sentiment Amber and I have teamed up to share with you as a thank you for your support. And my last recommendation is for fundamentals. I understand that many who are accustomed to a brick and mortar education might be worried about children mastering fundamentals that institutionalized schooling promotes for each grade level. So for this, I would recommend going to the Teachers Pay Teachers website, type in end of year or summer review, followed by whichever grade level your child is in, and you'll find plentiful options for purchasing inexpensive bundles with an instant download purchase. These bundles require no preparation, more than just to print, of course, and will have all the fundamentals you need to bridge the gap between an outgoing grade level to the next. Most bundles I see here to be engaging fun worksheets. Being completely transparent, I have not purchased one of these bundles simply because we don't need it with all of the curriculum that we own and resources that we own as homeschoolers. However, if I did not own those resources and I felt uneasy about my child's lack of mastery for the following school year, this would be an easy, no fuss option. I want you to know that I am praying for this community along with praying for the rest of the world, and it has only been through my Savior's embrace that I can see a light at the end of this and stay optimistic for tomorrow. Today's video is as much as you'll hear me discuss the world's current events. I am using my social platform to spread joy, hope, and calm. Thanks for watching.